Hey YouTube, Ratcast. I'm Johnny.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is Ratcast Podcast, episode
9.
of season 3. So I saw a bunch of comments that I wanted to read though. Another vote of confidence for Squid Game, Hellbound, and Singles Inferno. That last one is new, but apparently it's a comedy show. It says hearts will get broken, and that means we're not gonna watch it. Hearts getting broken around here.
Have you met her?
But
No.
Squid Game, there's a chance. I'm not saying a great chance, especially with all the new shows coming back, but there is a chance.
I mean, there's always days in the future, you know, when there's a dry spell, there's always going to be a dry spell again.
Oh yeah. And it would be a live action show, which I haven't done in a very long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of movie suggestions, the movie poll actually went out today for the next movie. We decided to put that one out a bit earlier because we realized if we actually put the movie poll out at the start of the month when we're trying to look for days to actually watch the movie,
Yeah, it makes
the
more
day
sense.
might come too early for the poll, right? Like, thankfully, Spirited Away was a very clear winner last month, but going forward, we're going to probably release the poll a bit earlier in the month. But yeah, so if you're interested and if you're a patron seeing us right now, check that poll out. It is good to go right now.
Yeah.
I'll actually mention what's on the list. We've got Akira on the list. We've got Ghost in the Shell. I've seen Ghost in the Shell and Akira. And we've got Howl's Moving Castle, another Studio Ghibli movie. You
I've
seen
heard of it.
I've heard of it too.
Yes.
And we've got, what's the last? Well, we got Train to Busan. It's a live action movie.
Ooh.
It's a very big zombie movie.
Yes.
I like
think that's all.
zombies, actually.
You do?
I do.
Do you? It's a Korean movie.
Oh, Korean is all bets are off. I'm just talking, like, I usually like zombie movies. Like, even, like, I don't remember what, if it was Zombie World or something like that. It was kind of when I got turned on to zombies a lot. And then, like, Warm Bodies was really fun.
That's a comedy,
I loved Warm
right?
Mom. It's a romance comedy.
Zombielandia.
Wait, Zombieland or Warm Bodies?
Warm Bodies, was it a comedy?
It was,
I don't think
it was
so.
a romance comedy.
Romance, mostly romancy.
Yeah. Chick flick romance comedy.
Yeah. Interesting.
I enjoyed it. It was
I
fun.
like zombies, even though they're gross.
Was it around Twilight era?
Legend.
A little bit
I
afterwards,
listened.
yeah. But around there.
That sounds like something that is Twilight universe.
Maybe that's why I got turned on to it, because it was Twilight. It was Twilight time, yeah.
Yes.
Because I was going through the Twilight books at the time, so maybe I just got turned on to the fantasy genre.
Maybe.
Yeah, we got another comment from someone saying, "Wow, hearing someone here on this YouTube channel not liking Studio Ghibli, even though I like your reaction content on 86, and now I have to think about this."
He's like, I must remove you from my life. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I've changed my mind since we watched Spirited Away. I
Yeah.
loved Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Makes Studio Ghibli like up levels in my mind. So, and also, which you mentioned when we just started watching, just before we started watching, like, I don't even remember that much about Ponyo. I just remember not having a great reaction to it at the time. So, you know, I even think maybe we could watch it again. Have we all seen it?
No, I've never seen
So
it.
let's
didn't
watch
know
it.
that.
Let's watch it, and then let's see if my
it holds
opinion
up.
still holds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and others had gone into saying Ponyo is one of their favorite movies of the Studio Ghibli movies. So they're very surprised that of all of them, you don't like that.
That's the one.
Oh, that's also on the list. My Neighbor Totoro. That was
Ah,
also
yeah,
on the
yeah.
I
list.
always wanted to watch that Totoro whole thing because I know, like, even at my dental office, there's this girl, relatively young, with a Totoro tattoo. Like, she liked anime. I understand you liking anime, but you tattooed Totoro onto your body?
Yeah, I do know a lot of people like Totoro. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always mixed it up with Spirited Away.
Oh,
When
yeah,
people
yeah.
were talking about
Oh,
it.
really?
But yeah, I'm very excited to get into these movies.
Me too.
Because, I mean, I never really considered, before we even talked about possibly doing movies, I didn't even consider Studio Ghibli. But now that we've started, I'm kind of
Yeah.
excited to get into it because there's a bunch of anime movies that there's a whole world I just never got into, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's anime, and
then
anime
there's-
movies are different.
They're
Yeah.
different.
They
yeah.
feel different. Even Your Name and
Yeah.
Silent Voice,
Yes.
they feel different from anime.
But from regular
Very different.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone else saying Nikki doesn't like Studio Ghibli. That's new to me. My sister loves them too, but I only remember watching Spirited Away and Ponyo. That's from Neokai.
Oh, Neo.
Oh, yeah, Neo. I think I commented to Neo.
I see a
somewhere.
reply. I don't remember leaving a reply.
Yeah, that was me then. I don't remember. I usually sign when I reply because I don't usually reply.
Well, I didn't check it. I just knew. Oh, I did reply to this. I'll move on.
Oh, okay.
I do that sometimes. And yeah, new show polls will also be coming out relatively soon. I looked at all the movies. I mean, not all movies, all anime shows that we've been doing. They're pretty much all coming to an end very quickly. 86 has 4 episodes left.
Wow.
It is a 23 episode show.
So which one is 27?
I thought it was 86, but it turns out 4 of those are all specials. They're the recap things that we skip.
Okay.
Okay.
Promised Neverland, 1 episode left.
Yeah.
And one other show,
Ninja Kamui.
3 episodes left.
3 episodes left. Frieren. Frieren's close
Frieren's-
too.
What
Isn't it
I
24?
thought we were 19.
We're in 20. We just watched 20.
Ooh.
How many left?
I believe 4 more.
Yeah.
Maybe
so a month.
That
and
might
we're
have been.
done.
Let me see something. I remember something about Freeman's episodes count. 28.
28.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay! Because
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I love Frieren so much. I don't want it to end.
It doesn't feel like it's ramping up to the ending either.
No,
No.
it's just this is like I feel like this is like slice of life in the Middle Ages.
Yes.
Isn't it?
It actually
Yes.
is.
But
Actually,
it's
is.
slice of life with a twist. It's the first slice of life you can call like you like slice of life.
Yeah.
In the thinnest of margins. Slice of life. But I do love Freeman.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah. I think we've talked about how the feel of it is like you're on an adventure and you just feel immersed. Every episode I'm just drawn into the world.
Yeah.
And the music and the art, everything just melds, and the air of the characters' personalities, Fern and Frieren's like deadpan in the face of attacking someone to death.
Yes.
It's like I love it, like the calm assurance and just confidence of the both of them, and then Stark being the complete opposite on the other end, which we haven't seen in a little while. So it's like it's almost like there's these tense moments, but you're like, no, our girls got this.
Yes.
You know. I think if we were to see Frieren cry, that would break me.
Oh, 100%.
I know she's gonna cry eventually.
She cried in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was already kind of like.
Yeah, we just met her.
But like, if she cries now,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be on the floor.
We
Yeah.
need to get the tissue box.
That was just your raw empathy in the first episode. Now you're gonna have an emotional connection to this
Yeah.
emotionless stoic elf.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like no character is wasted. Everyone comes in, they have something to do.
Yeah.
But also, they don't only have something to do with what they're doing in this moment. Cyan's got something that he has to handle, just
Yeah.
off in the distance. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
We've got Ubel, the girl who just came in, and they did a lot of foreshadowing on her. She's got her whole deal, but they don't really focus on it too much.
Yes.
In a lot of other
Horrible.
shows, it would have been like, hey, this person, she's really creepy. She's
Yeah.
gonna one-shot everybody.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
No.
She got bodied.
Yeah.
But she still has her deal. Werble has his team. Why do we care about them? Do we care about them?
Do
or,
we?
or is that just they're off doing something?
Yeah.
And we'll see them in the next stage, maybe, and we'll just never see them again.
Yeah.
Or just building this something. You know, there's so many moving parts.
Craft even like he just pops
Craft.
in, pops out. You know he's this what is it, like legendary character
Yeah.
who's just living his own life right now.
He's just-
you know?
Yeah.
It's great.
In like season 4, we'll see him again. And then imagine season 4, he works with Frieren, and that becomes a party.
Yeah.
And for the next like 9 seasons, they're together. They could do that because they live forever.
Yeah. Oh, I love Frieren. I don't want it to ever end, but it's great.
I am genuinely curious if they're going to go the route of elves are actually immortal, or they. I mean, we haven't seen an old elf. And I'm curious if they're genuinely immortal, and Freeman just was never taught that, or if none of the elves are taught that because they're just so old, they just show up and whatever.
Yeah, like what happened? Because all the elves we've seen so far look like young. Like even
Except
Kraft.
Kraft, though.
No, Kraft. He looks mature. He doesn't look old. He
Yeah,
looks
he's-
like in maybe mid-20s, late like early 30s. Mm-hmm. But he's much older than Frieren.
Yes.
But like, where are all the other ones? Did they just like? Do they just die out? Like, do they
We
die
do know
from
that they were
loneliness?
hunted
Is
by
that
the
what happened?
demons.
Demon
Oh
King
yeah, I
hunted
forgot
them
about
down.
that. Yes. So that's what happened. So the old ones, obviously, they're less capable of taking care of themselves.
Yeah, we talked about this at one point where elves don't necessarily. Freeman had to be taught magic, right? So it's an elective. I mean, if you don't go into something that would make you able to survive, you're just a regular person who could get killed by anything.
That's
for a time.
true.
And they don't seem to really be too big on making kids or whatever. So after a couple thousand years, attrition, you know?
Yeah.
On top of that, they're hunted.
They're hunted,
So literally the
yeah.
only ones we will ever see are all legends.
Yeah.
Because they were strong enough to take care
To
of themselves.
survive.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, I wonder if Freeman will ever show concern of like, we're dying out. We should probably find more of us and get together.
I don't know if she will. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
An interesting change.
If she ever cares about it, you know.
Yeah, it's possible that she could get there, but how many thousand years would it take?
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems like she's still like a teenager by their standards.
Yeah, and her also, she's just learning to grow bonds with the people, right? Like right now.
That's crazy.
So.
And then there's the other half of it. It takes two to tango. You know, yeah, let's gather the elves. What do you want me to do? Stay in one place for 1,000 what? So like,
No thanks.
yeah, they're not gonna want to because they're the way they are.
Maybe next century.
Next
Yeah,
century.
exactly. Like Kraft, he's just going somewhere. He could have stayed, but he's like, I think I'm just gonna keep going. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was going before, and I will continue to go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we don't even know what he's up to. Yeah, so we've got those shows ending, and I just again, My Hero and Demon Slayer is coming next month, and I was saying 2 show polls were probably coming back because all those shows are ending. So usually, last time this happened, we had like 3 shows ending. We did 2 show polls and we picked one that seemed like it would do well or that we'd like. That's kind of like a fallback show. So that's probably what's going to happen again. Within probably this week or next week, we'll probably start another poll. I just don't like starting 2 polls on the same day because a lot of the times what happens, I've noticed in other people's patrons, they'll start a poll, and if they do another one the same day, people just don't realize that they're 2 separate polls.
Yeah,
Because the mind just sees poll, right? There's no way there's 2 of them at once, right?
Yeah, so like half
You
of
can't
what
ask
are
me 2
one.
questions at once. What is that?
Yeah, so Ninja Kamui, what do you guys think of that so far? I mean, we're probably going to talk about it again in a few weeks, but I'm curious, it's halfway point.
I'm enjoying it. I'm still at, like, it's one of those animes that I'm like, this was fun, and then I'm gonna forget about it until somebody mentions it, and I'm like, gonna be like, oh yeah, that one, you know?
I feel the same.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting. It has some nice. There's some emotional points. I haven't cried in it. I've been shocked by some things. It is really down and dirty vengeance show. A lot of good action. The fight scenes are great. The horror is great. You know. But you're right. There's not really like a sparkle of that Ninja Kamui. You gotta watch that.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really like a thing to anchor it in your mind as a special.
Yeah, I've likened it before to an action show, but I've also likened Demon Slayer to being like an action show kind of thing. And I think this is kind of where you can see the difference in quality, because we've seen before people were targeting Demon Slayer saying it's not a very good show at all and didn't really deserve the amount of fame and the accolades that it was getting. But it does do a good job of pulling out the immediate emotions out of people.
Yeah.
It's not the deepest show, but it goes deep enough where it knows how to grab an audience, get on the story plot, and it doesn't waste any time.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other shows, I think, what's the one that we watched recently that was really... I'll say just Frieren for an example. Frieren does a good job of making you fall in love with every one of the characters. They're not always like in mortal danger or anything, like Demon Slayer. But I'd care more if like a Frieren character was in trouble.
Yeah.
But I would still care about a Demon Slayer character. So I think Demon Slayer is doing something masterful in that it's able to make you care.
Yeah.
Because here's Ninja Kamui showing very tragic circumstances, but you don't really care that much.
Yeah.
Because it's just, here it is, we're moving on. Because the point of it is the combat. It's not the people.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas I still think in Demon Slayer, the point is kind of still the people.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's a story of this boy trying to make his sister human again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's the core of it. Even in every situation, every fight, it always comes back to humanity and their relationships and even people's memories of their humanity. It's all about humanity, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, not a bad show at all, but I can understand why it's not as popular as other shows, because there's just so many good shows right now. And it's hard to just sell only action when you've got stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is action in spades very well, while keeping up with amazing characters and story.
Yeah. I wonder what their goal was for Ninja Kamui. Because, like...
Show cool fights.
Yeah, I mean, was it, you know?
I feel like that's literally it.
Yeah.
Because... Yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as they're getting what they wanted, is that your goal and you got
Anime
it?
John Wick with hands.
Yes.
I think that's
With hands?
all they tried to do.
With hands.
Yeah.
Oh, the extra hands. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just
Go
saying
for
like
it.
with combat.
I'm
with
like,
fist fighting.
Okay.
Oh, instead of
You know, like catch
weapons
these
and
hands?
guns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
All right. I completely, that went way over my head. I'm like, but John had hands. He had
I
hands.
was wondering why you kept saying hands. Hands. Yeah, she's with me here. Hands. Hands. Hands.
I was trying to process the information. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's all. I'm hoping like that they got their goal out of making the show. Like, I hope they didn't go in there with some other desire, like to teach us something or to like invoke some other feeling that never happened.
Hell no.
You know, that would be sad.
I'm not learning anything.
This was made by, it was a combination Disney and somebody, right?
Disney.
No, or am I mixing it up?
The guy who worked on John Wick, I believe. Someone who worked on John Wick helped work on this.
Oh, I knew it was some Western and anime come together.
I thought it was the guy who worked on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
That was it.
But he also has some info
it's-
from someone from John Wick. Yes.
You can definitely feel. But yeah, okay. Well, we'll enjoy Ninja Kamui for what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, so before we move on, I wanted to see if you've got any Rose Rants. You've been watching any animes?
Oh, I gotta think about this. Give me a second. Extrapolate.
Oh, I know what you were watching that
What?
I wanted you to talk about.
Tell me.
Oh gosh, come back. I saw you
You also
watching
forgot.
it. Don't look. Hold on. And I was like, oh yeah. You remember?
Yeah, I remember you asking me
I'm like, oh,
because
you're
I was
watching
annoyed
that.
about it because I was currently watching it and you kept you were interviewing me about
Oh, yeah,
how do you feel?
yeah.
I remember that.
Anime.
I remember that because you never asked.
No,
And you
because
kept
it's because
asking about
it's
this
because I
one.
knew the anime and I was like, oh, she could
Oh.
talk about that on Rose Rants. But now I can't remember what it was.
So you've seen this one?
Mashal.
Was it Mash?
Season 2?
Was it Mashal? Yes, it was Mashal. Yeah,
Yes.
but we talked about it already.
Oh.
But the reason I was asking about it is because I kept seeing it whenever time I go to Crunchyroll to do thumbnails.
Yes.
There it was. So I kept like it being in my mind. Like it made me feel like I've watched it every
Yes.
time I've seen the screen. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious how's that going.
The problem is you can't go into too much detail because
We might watch it?
There was some demand for us to watch that.
Oh, really?
So we
Oh,
might
yeah.
actually go on to the poll.
Okay, I'll review as vaguely as possible. Okay, so we've entered season 2 and now we've gotten some hair strands of plot.
Uh-oh.
It's incredible, but it's a
Is
good
that
time.
thin?
It's a good.
What the heck?
His man's literally just going about life. You know what I mean? But
so
like,
it's like
it's
a-
very fun. It's not a slice of life.
Oh, it's not a slice of life.
I mean-
this is more actiony.
It's
slice
not
of
by
life
your
with a
standards.
twist.
But it was a fairly popular show. I feel like it's had to have.
It
had
was
plot.
fun. Yeah, it does have plot in that. Okay, so overview of this world is, in this world, everybody has
Magic.
magic.
Yeah. I remember
If
that.
you don't have magic, you're considered a lack magic and you deserve to die.
And he's basically one that does not have magic.
Yes,
I remember
but
that.
he has somehow compensated with finding working out and the gains.
Right.
So he's just off the charts in regards
Marshall.
to human, barely human at this point. Honestly, he punches magic away. It's great.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fantastic.
Yeah, wait, I remember this.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. It sounds hilarious.
So if
so funny.
so it's not really like so when you say there's no plot, it's like there's no running theme from episode to episode. It's like kind of monster of the week.
Kind of. Yeah, I would kind of say. I keep trying to compare it to what's it called, Iruma-kun, but neither of you have seen Iruma-kun. So,
Well, we might not watch that one, so you could tell us, or we might watch it, but we'll forget entirely
no,
what you said.
you honestly won't watch this one.
Okay.
So Iruma-kun is about
This?
Yes, it's about this human guy who his parents basically sell to the devil.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
'cause-
I've heard of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just kind of finds out about it while he's being carried away by the demon, and he's just kind of like, what? But then the demon is like, you're my grandson now.
Aww.
So now he's just living life in hell. But also, all demons like eat humans, so he has to like
Keep him safe.
pretend he's not human.
Yeah, and everyone's scared of him, right?
Yeah, but everyone's scared of him because of something that accidentally happened on the first day of school.
Perfect.
Like one of the prospects to be like one of the newcomers who's gonna like reach the top, he like accidentally beats him in some sort of fight or challenge. And everyone was like, oh, stay away from that kid, you know what I mean? And
That's what they tell you when you go to school. Punch the tallest kid in the
Yeah.
face, and everyone else will leave.
That's
That's
prison.
all right.
that's what they tell you when you go to school. No. No one said
Don't
that.
do that. Okay. Or at least film it and don't credit us.
Yeah, it's such a interesting mix-up. Anyways, continue.
But basically, it's like that kind of world where he's trying to keep his secret of I'm human, but also like all of these random hijinks happen. All of the weird characters around him makes it really funny.
Yeah.
And you have the school events that are like there's a twist on it because they're in hell.
Yep.
So those kinds of things happened. I think we still got a beach episode, which is impressive.
Beach in hell.
Yeah.
Lava, anyone?
Yeah.
Let's wash our toes in the hot lava.
Yeah. So I keep comparing it to that because it's like he's trying to live as well as possible in this world that if they find out the truth about him, will kill him.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But people in Mashal world, they know that he's black magic.
No.
They don't.
No.
Oh.
They have to keep it completely silent because there's like a whole this police will try to kill him.
Oh
They'll
wow! So
actually try
pretty
to kill
much,
him.
pretty much the same idea here. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
Wow.
So the comparison I was looking for was
And he's going to a mage school, by the way.
yeah, I remember that. The comparison I'm looking for though is the plot. So how does the plot run in Iruma-kun?
So in Iruma-kun, there's really no plot in it, just that like he's like I need to get good grades and try to stay under the radar, but it's not working because everybody around him who loves him is just like, hey, look at Iruma-kun. But also they are like the top dogs of the school, so everyone's paying attention.
Oh, so he can't hide.
Yes.
So okay, so this is what I'm getting. Plot is there is a plot, the main plot,
Stuff
but it's
happens.
like a back burner plot.
Yes.
So it's like
it's more like a settings plot. It creates a setting.
it creates a setting. The setting is don't get caught. Now let's live our life.
Yes.
And so that's basically the idea with Mashul.
Mashal, yes.
Okay,
So-
that makes sense.
I have a question about Mashal.
Yes.
So every single still or even little thing I've seen about Mashal, he has the same plain face, looks like Mob Psycho growing
Yes.
up. Does he actually remain stoked through the whole thing? Is that just like a running gag? Is he like free running, just doesn't emote?
Yes.
Okay.
But the fact that I had to think about that for a second, like he doesn't emote in like his voice or his facial muscles, but like
in
he'll
thoughts and stuff?
he'll still go like he'll emote in like what he's saying, or he'll be surprised
What
by
he's doing.
something. Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay, I like
But
that. I don't
it-
like it when they don't react at all to situations.
Yeah, no, he does. He does react to stuff, and he is a goofball, but in like, also in not like the super stereotype. It's like the stereotypical, I'm stupid, and my face is always plain, but he also has like logical thought that you can kind of follow. So it makes him an interesting character.
Okay, that's cool.
So he has a train of thought, not a good one, but
No,
it's there.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. That's a really good way to explain it.
Yeah, I remember from Iruma-kun though, the grandfather guy who adopted him is the principal at school, right, or something like that.
Yes, he's like the principal of the school, who is also like the king of hell.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I think it's like they're trying to find the next demon king, and there's a bunch of them vying for the spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's plot right there.
Well, there's underlying story in there, but like it doesn't. You can tell it's going to inform some of the later stuff in the story, but like it's not a thing right now at all. It's not part of plot.
I don't remember. Does he have any special abilities because he's human? I think there's some things that come up.
If he his blood is basically like a sensu bean for all the people in hell. Yeah.
He just
So-
had an instant heal.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously because they
From
eat
gold-
humans.
Yeah. And he also has this ring that now grandfather imbues it with his own power to like
Oh.
let him be able to use powers because they have magic in hell. So he uses that to like get by in the school. Yeah, because again, going to one of the most prestigious schools.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you got to do PE class,
Yes.
magic class.
Magic class. Yes, exactly.
Don't let me take off this ring.
Yeah, I think I actually see the ring right there. And it's-
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, a very important ring.
Yeah, I've actually seen something recently. So, technically, I have seen it before. But we were speaking of Twilight. I saw all of Twilight recently.
Oh, yeah,
Because-
you did it.
Yeah, I was watching people on YouTube watch it because I saw, this thing, if I see like a group of 5 or more reacting to a movie,
Yeah.
I want to go see it because you see such a wide range of reactions to things.
Yeah.
And Twilight's just like, there's gonna be some wild reactions to this.
Yeah.
And there were. Dude, that show was cringe.
It is. It's one of those things. It's like it's same thing like with reading a book. You just have to be like, this is it. I'm involved.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Your cringe only happens if you're a third party.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it was worse because I was watching people watching it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And you see the chat on the side of everybody talking about like, oh my god, did that just happen? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was telling you the other day how if you watch, I saw the movies in reverse. I know you shouldn't do that, but because I knew what happened anyway. Because years ago I'd seen you guys watch it.
Yeah.
But so I was watching it from the ending, going backwards because I just wanted to see the battle scenes and stuff, right? But as you go backwards in the movies, the acting gets significantly worse the farther back you go. And someone said there's something about like the first movie is directed by someone completely different from the second movie, and that's why
really?
the second movie is actually considered like one of the better movies, New Moon.
Oh, really?
I don't really remember what happened in Eclipse, but then Breaking Dawn, I remember I just love that battle scene. That battle scene's awesome.
Do you know Breaking Dawn? Reading it is like, I understand like trying to put that scene in the movie.
The
would
ending
be,
scene.
Yeah, the ending scene. It would be
The
really.
big battle scene.
I understand why it's disappointing because you know they did the real big battle. That never
Spoiler
happened.
alert.
That never happened in the book. There was no battle, but it was so tense. Like reading it, I went back and read it multiple times. I loved that scene.
It would never have worked on the screen.
No, it was just standing around, Bella thinking a lot. That basically,
Yeah.
that was it. But what happened and how she pulled it off, and like it was so cool. Like especially after all we've been through and all the books, you know, that she finally had a thing she could do. So it was really fun. And then the fact like what happened because of her ability, where I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but
Go ahead and spoil it.
okay.
It's a spoiler alert.
We're a
fine.
few
And
years
it's
past
Twilight.
Oh,
its
okay.
prime.
Okay. Well, when she does her ability, which is expanding her protective barrier around her mind, because she's
is,
the
like,
only
stopping
she's the only
people's-
person Edward couldn't read the mind of. So she learns from one of the other people who came to help with the battle to expand it from herself to around people, and she finally got the feel of it, and she expanded around everybody, and then she was able to expand it only around people. She like if she touched this wolf, it would expand around all the wolves. It was really cool. And what was the most touching part? Edward could hear her mind. It was so
Finally.
he could finally hear
I
her.
thought he always could read her mind.
No, he
No.
could never. She was even when she was a human, he couldn't read her mind.
Is
Yeah.
that in the books or the movie?
In the movie and the book.
Oh, I don't remember. I never watched all the movies. So I don't
It
know.
was in the movie because at one point
Yeah.
he was like,
That's why he was obsessed with her.
yeah, even before he had told her he was a vampire, he was like flipping out. And he
Yeah.
was like, I can't read your mind, and she's like, what the
Yeah.
heck does that mean?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be able to read her
Yeah,
mind.
he can
Okay.
read everybody's mind.
Okay.
That's his ability because all vampires have some ability.
Yeah, I was confused because I could have sworn he read people's mind.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that made the movie a little cringe was his acting there, where he would stare at her and just like
Can't get in.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like how
was very bad
sometimes
acting.
they're just staring, just like through the scene, and like when watching comments in the like looking at comments on YouTube and being like, man, this scene goes on longer than I remember. Someone's
Yeah.
staring at me for that long.
Yeah. I do. I remember at the time of watching it because the first movie I watched the movie before I got into Twilight. All I heard was I had two really close friends in college. One obsessed with Twilight and forced us to go watch the movie. The other one hated Twilight, loved regular vampires, and the idea of sparkling vampires in the sun just like eked her out. She's like, "This is disturbing. I don't
kinda
want
stupid.
I don't want to be involved with this." But we're really close friends, and you're like, "Let's go watch the movie. Let's go watch the movie." This is the other friend.
Yeah.
And I'll call her Kat. That's her nickname. And she is like, let's go watch the movie. So I'm in the middle of these two. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, sparkling vampires. I'm not into vampires in general. So, I mean, sparkling vampires, that's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really bother me that much. So we go watch the movie. So I'm going into it very, like, neutral. I don't really have any thoughts.
Open-minded.
Yeah, so I was very objective as I was watching it. I was like, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
She's stupid. Oh, why is she doing that? What? But then as I got into it, I started to like really get into it. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my god. You know, so then I got hooked and I started reading the books.
Yeah.
So that scene, I remember that scene, and I remember it being like really awkward.
Yeah.
I was like, even Bella was like, she was squirming, I was squirming.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you stop staring, Edward, please?
Yeah.
That's not good social etiquette.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And I think that goes to show translation between
Yeah.
the book and the movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the intent there was to make you feel awkward as an audience so that you'd understand where Bella was coming from. There were certainly moments where it's like, okay, Bella's really cringe and she's going over the edge, but there are also moments where it's like, I could see why in the book the talking scene works at the very end with like Volturi and stuff, a fight scene. That would be terrifying. She's going up against this whole thing. She's only known like the comfort of these people who are already scary, and now these a forest full of vampires that could easily kill her at any moment. That's intense, you know, especially when you're reading it and you're alone and you're one-on-one with the book. In a movie setting, especially now as time's gone on, there's kind of like a ramp up to violence and action. If there's at an end and you have a face-off with the most powerful group on the planet, no movie producer worth their salt will let that movie go out without a fight scene.
Yeah.
Even if they kind of yoinked it away at the very end, which I think they should have just stuck to their guns and done something different. I love it when the books at the very end. Okay, that's not fair. I don't like it when they divert from the canon. But when I think it's trash, give us a good show. Let's throw popcorn at the screen. But I love the fight scene. I think that was probably the best way to handle it, by keeping it canon, but also giving people who, you know, sane viewers wanting to see a battle.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do something.
The rest of us aren't saying.
But it would be very interesting. There's been a lot of movies that have been remade recently. I genuinely am curious to see if that movie ever gets a remake, how that would go.
Twilight?
Yeah. In the new era, that'd be kind of interesting.
I would watch it.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. And I wonder if like I've watched some some K-dramas that are very, very good with suspense.
Yes.
And like very good with like communicating somebody's thoughts without actually having a voiceover. So I wonder if they would actually be able to pull off the whole Bella's internal monologue thing without her just having like minutes and minutes just of her talking. Just like a lot of like, you see a face, you see her look at something, it's implied, this train of thought, and it keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I would love to see somebody actually pull that off.
That would be great, because that, like I said, that's hands down favorite part of the entire series was that scene. Went back and read it multiple times, like never got sick of it. I still have the book somewhere, I think, unless I gave it away. I may have gave it away.
I think you have the book. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
I have it.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I got curious about maybe I'll read it, and I looked for the book, and I saw the book. And I was like, that's a big book.
It's a big book.
It's a really big book.
You know what's funny? As the series goes on, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. It does. Like, Twilight is like this thin. It was a small book. And
Was
then
it?
New Moon was bigger, then Eclipse was bigger, and Breaking Dawn is like this
The book
thick.
I saw was like that thick.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Breaking Dawn I saw.
It must have been. Breaking Dawn was the only one that big. Like
Okay.
400, 500 pages or something like that.
And she did
How big is the
have
font?
all
Very tiny.
hardcovers.
Very tiny. I expected it was that thick. It was like 800 pages.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe it was. I don't remember. It's a thick book though. I don't remember how many pages.
I don't count pages. Who are you?
But it was so funny because I was so into it. When I saw how thick it was like, It means I have this book for a long time.
Yeah.
I loved it.
How do you guys feel? Well, I know how you feel about that. How do you feel about that? Because for me, it's like a toss-up. I guess it depends on the author. If it's a thinner book, I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally get into this. But if it's a thicker book, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do this today.
That's
There's a lot of arcs in there that I'm not ready for.
That's what I was gonna get into. If the first book was a thick book, I'd be really intimidated. I probably would not. have gotten
Okay,
into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But they eased us into it, and I feel like the author started to get into her own story, and she's like, I can't stop writing.
Yeah.
So I think if you're an author and you want to get people into a series, start small to ease people in for sure. Because you just like you're saying, it's like a hook, and you're like, I can read that. I can one book, yeah, that's not so bad. And then once you're hooked, you don't care how long it is. You're gonna read it.
Yeah.
So
true.
that's what I think.
I mean, yeah, I used to be a semi-avid reader when I was younger, so I did fall into this kind of thing where if the book is really thick, I'd look for those to start with, because I found there's a big disappointment you feel once you finish a book you love.
Yeah.
And there's a void, because you kind of fell into this rhythm of every day I'd read this thing and you're on this adventure and then it's gone and there's no more, you know? But so that's why I got into like series like, the Alex Rider series, because I could follow that author. But yeah, I prefer thicker books, especially if they're highly reviewed.
Yeah.
If
Well,
people say
you
this is
read
good-
War and Peace. So.
Yes, and for a while it was my favorite book ever, and I've literally forgotten everything that happens in that book, aside from like a couple key moments. But yeah, I got into that book because everyone was saying this is one of the greatest books ever written. So like, I love reading books. It's gonna take forever, and I wanted it to take forever. You know?
12.
Yeah.
I remember when I got into reading, I got like really into reading when I was, 13.
Yeah.
And it was the Alice series. I don't know if
Alice?
you've ever read Alice.
Wonderland?
Not you. I don't know if you've ever read Alice. Alice is geared towards girls. Okay. It's a redhead girl who... Alice, I think, is called. Alice...
Green Gables?
No, Alice. It's really like it's a slice of life, as
There?
slice of life as they come.
mean, that's a
No,
redhead.
maybe it's not Alice. Alice something series. But she's like 12 and she has her troubles with friends. She had a boyfriend, Patrick, and Patrick cheated on her. I hated him after that. I was like, he was like her lifelong boyfriend. Oh, there it is.
Oh wow.
Simply Alice. I love.
I think I
Simply
heard
Alice.
you talk about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole series at Aunt Millicent's house, and I read all of them. And then I went to the library and found all of them. I read all of it. I loved it, and she grew up in the book a little bit, just a couple years. But like there were like all the things girls would go through, like periods and like first bra and like cousins coming over teaching you how to do like your hair, like all sorts of just random. It's just things for little girls.
Growing up things.
Yeah, but it also had like emotional things with like dealing with friends, problems like getting along with friends in school or boyfriend problems. And I always liked how Alice's personality, she's a redhead, so she's very fiery sometimes. So like when Patrick,
I like how those two things are congruent.
so when Patrick cheated on her, she like forget you, and I was like, yeah, Alice, go you. But she was still sad,
Yeah.
So like it was a fun series, and that's where I started to get super hungry for reading, and then I started to look for any book I could find to read, and then I got into the McNally series, and that was a thick book. McNally is like.
Well, that's the detective thing.
That's
right?
the detective story. Yeah, love McNally, and his writing style is amazing.
Yeah, I remember to this day. I remember that one thing he said that you quoted.
Yes.
That we all quote times to time. It's like, "How to sleep last night? Slept like a baby. Woke up crying every 2 hours." That's the funniest way of describing that.
There's another one that I love from that. My flower was utterly gasted.
Oh, is that what that's
That
from?
was from there too. Yeah.
Yeah, growing up, if you find a book series like something like that, where it's around your age and it's about growing up or just things you'd encounter, or maybe things that you imagine you would have encountered in another situation, it's one of the best things.
Yeah.
It's just really fun to read, because there was also another series where I can't remember the name, but it was about like 5 boys, and they're all like varying ages.
Hardy Boys.
Was it the Cardi Boys?
Hardy.
That's the detective one, right?
Hardy Boys? Oh yeah, I think they're the male version of Nancy Drew.
I think so, but I'm thinking about the one
Different
where
one?
they just lived in this neighborhood, they roughhouse, they do whatever, they get into adventures, and then there's a book series as the girl version of them moves in next door, and there's like a prank war, and they hate each other.
Oh,
And then-
that
yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And then like the younger ones don't want to fight, and so they start hacking out. And it causes like a peace treaty or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I
that
do remember
sounds
that.
so familiar, and I cannot place it
But
at
it's
all.
extremely wholesome. But
Yeah.
but it was like, it was wholesome, but you wouldn't recognize it as wholesome as a kid. Because like, you're in a prank war.
Yes.
This is serious stuff. Yeah. But yeah, stuff like that's very, very nice to read.
Yeah, it makes me think of like right now. I guess I can talk about my endeavors of making a manga story, but it's not for like regular like consumption. This is for English learners, but I'm not writing it towards English learners. If you understand what I'm writing it in like natural English, but I'm gonna explain everything. So if there's something that's like I kind of hold myself back a little bit. Like if I get too slangy, I won't get too slangy, but I'll write with natural English. Like if we'll say. If we'll like like there's some circumstances where we just randomly go into formal words.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like let's say you might say something like he regretted his actions, something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's how we say that particular thing, even though it's really formal. I might do that, but otherwise, like I try to like let myself be as natural as possible. But at the same time, I'm just like fulfilling my dream to write a manga. I want to write a manga, so I've been keeping you in the dark because I want to get a genuine reaction and also opinion. Like if the story is flowing, if you're too confused for too long. Like right now in the first episode, I kind of want you to be confused about what you're confused about. I'm gonna explain it soon.
That's the thing that you had me watch.
Yeah, that was that one. But I told her the whole plot. She knows everything because I wanted to her your idea of like, does it make sense to do it that way? And it came off. I think you kind of liked it. So, so yeah, that's what I'm enjoying in terms of writing a manga. But it made me think like, if we can like, if there is a story series that for adults going through adult life that is like akin to say these. Not Alex Rider, that's like a spy. But like say this Alice story that I've read where it's fun to get into. It's a little it's wholesome, but it's
normal
like
life.
It's normal life. But
Slice of life.
I know it's slice of
With
life.
a twist.
But like that's not like boring and cringe and angsty, you know.
But that's not slice of life though.
Agretsuko.
What?
Agretsuko. Watch that anime.
Yeah.
We nearly reacted to it.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Really?
I watched the
I think
last
at
season.
first you thought it was going to be cringe, but you got into it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It was good. Yeah.
It's hard to get into it because some of the characters are just so loud or out there. But after a while, you're like you genuinely get invested in this person's story.
Yes.
But it's about Agretsuko, who is everyone's like an animal form of a person, and it's a young woman who was working on an office job. But she has a really hard time asserting herself, really hard time moving forward in her career. But a plot does happen, things change regularly, and her life changes. It's not like every episode resets like this is a sitcom. Things happen as she goes forward. I did hear there was
mostly a comedy.
Mostly a comedy, but it definitely, I wouldn't say it's mostly a comedy. It's about her life, and there's a lot of
And
comedy
it's
that
funny.
happens.
That's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple songs in there that are hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Songs.
And I don't do well with songs.
No, I was gonna say.
They're kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
She gets roasted in a song. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only other thing I wanted to bring up was Dune. So the Dune movies had recently been remade because there's original ones from like I want to say in the 90s.
Yeah.
The Dune books are very influential in a lot of sci-fi things, but never really hit prominence the way like things like Star Wars changed everything, right? But recently Dune hit the big screen and people loved the first one, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but I was never into Dune. I very nearly bought the book to read it.
Oh yeah.
I think I actually might have a PDF file of the book for some reason. But then the second movie came out. I didn't pirate it. Then the second movie came out.
I don't know.
And people love that one too. And it was like, okay, so this is actually a thing
Oh,
that
that's
might
working.
continue. People are like, this is actually really good to the books.
Oh.
It's really good for sci-fi. A lot of people were saying this is kind of in the vein of what people wanted from Star Wars and like changing the sci-fi landscape. So it was like, I don't know if people are just, too drunk on how good this movie is in a year of really bad movies. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Or if it's legitimately good. So, I mean, we might react to it actually. It might go on one of the polls eventually.
Oh, for like a movie revision, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And if the first one does well, then we can watch the next one too.
Yeah, because I mean, I think I still have a tab saved that I had dedicated to watching the original Dune movies
Oh.
from like a year ago. So I might just be the one to watch the old ones, and then as a group we could watch the new ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we do it because they're both well received. Like the first one, people say isn't as faithful, but it's regarded as a really good movie.
Yeah, I do know that even a lot of like CGI artists regard that as like the grandfather of a lot of CGI techniques and stuff.
Yeah, and there's something about it is alluring to me. Like I want
Yeah.
to learn about the universe of Dune.
I was just gonna say I hear about Dune randomly in random places, like people just throwing jokes about Dune, not making fun of it, just
Yeah.
like something like in Dune or something like that, something like that. And I just want to be on the cool clubs in the cool club.
Yeah, you get caught by FOMO very
Yeah.
easily. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you guys very much for being here. I'm sorry about that. Guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you like your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, if you want to see the next couple of these early, you can see it in the Patreon down below. Remember, please check out the movie poll if you are a patron. Don't want you guys to miss out on picking the next movie. And remember, feel free to suggest things. A lot of things might not get on there immediately. There's a couple of movie suggestions that I'm still looking over. But yeah, suggest things. Comment down below. We'll see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.